Now, why am I bringing up this idea, right? Speak what you seek. So say the things you seek until you see what you have said. The reason why I bring this up is because a few years back, there was an individual that was at a position in his life where he needed some transitions. He needed something different. He needed something that he could put his work ethic, desire, and passion into. Because don't worry, this person has more than enough passion, hard work, ambition, desire, and enthusiasm. The thing is, we all have that in certain degrees, in certain layers, but if we don't have a vehicle or a platform or an industry to implement all of that desire into, then we're dormant, right? We're dormant in this position. We're not moving. We're stuck in the same spot. And this person found an industry that he knew really nothing about. And this industry was hosting a massive event in Las Vegas. I'm talking tens of thousands of people. And even though this person really didn't have lodging set up, where they were gonna stay, didn't have tons of connections, and living in Philadelphia, said, you know what? I'm just gonna go. With the clothes on my back, with a backpack, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do what I can to get a ticket. I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna stay. And this person literally couch surfed and was sitting in the room with 10,000 people, right? And in this stage of people, you have people that have achieved tens of millions of dollars in this industry. You have people that have been speaking on stages for 20 to 30 years. And while they've achieved all this success, here's this one individual who literally has his clothes in his backpack sitting by himself going, is this for me? Am I different? Can I make this happen? Do I have the ability within me to create the results that I want in this industry? And he asked himself a very important question. He asked if he was capable. Just like you're probably asking while you're sitting there, like I said, maybe the laptop's sitting on your chest while you're multitasking. Are you capable? He asked himself the same question many years ago. And here's the thing. Did it happen overnight? It didn't happen overnight. It took a little bit of time and a little persistence. But now, going a few years later, that same individual that was in an event with 10,000 people with the clothes on his back, in just the last 30 days, has had over 2,700 new people join his business all around the world. That same person, 2,700 new people join his business all around the world. Now, in case you don't know, if you look at the stats of our company, 1,000 new licenses in this business creates a $10,000 a month check. In 30 days, almost 3 times that amount joined this person's business, who just a few years ago just got into this industry but had the courage with just the clothes on his back to go, hey, maybe I can make this thing work. Maybe this is my vehicle to transform my life and make some changes. So here's what I need you guys to do, because this person has so much passion and so much hard work that he puts in day in and day out. You all owe him a ton of 777s right now. So I need you to drop so many 77s in this chat if you're ready to hear my friend, my brother, my great partner in this business, Donta Lewis, dive into some amazing strategies you are not going to miss. Donta, take it away, man.
All right, so Derek, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm super grateful and really happy to even be here today. Like this, everything that we're experiencing right now for me personally is very surreal, and I'm so excited because I really knew that a lot of these things were going to be happening very much before it did so. And today we're going to talk about in detail what it means to have supernatural success. And because this is a conference about business, we're going to talk about business success a little bit more specifically. But some of the principles that I'm going to go over today, I want to really let you know that they're palatable. And what does that mean? That means that the concepts that we're going to discuss can be applied to every area of your life the same way I've applied them to every area in my life. The trajectory that my life is on right now is going up in other places outside of finances. I want you to understand fixing the money problem in your life is just one of the problems. So we're going to talk about that today specifically, but know that these same principles really apply to that. I'm Donta, and I'm really grateful and honored to be here today with you all. I'm from Philadelphia. Shout out to my mom, my dad, my grandparents who are all watching this together. I'm really excited. But what I want to show you guys today, and what I wanted to let you know, is that we're the same. I started from very humble beginnings. We grew up in a very near poverty kind of environment in Philadelphia, and what I experienced was very much limiting beliefs when it came to business, when it came to my life. And we're going to talk about today what are some of the things that are projected to be inevitable amongst everybody around us and what that really means. So for me, in 2017, I dropped out of college at the beginning of that year because I didn't necessarily want to continue to pay all that money to go to school. I didn't have any scholarships. I didn't have any financial aid or anything like that for me. So I was paying for college out of pocket. Now you see a lot of times people are paying off their college debt years after they're out of school, but me, I was paying that money up front. So I had the realization that, okay, wait, I'm spending a lot of money right now and there's nothing guaranteed that's going to give me this money back once I'm done school. So I made a decision for myself to say, I'd rather just go get in the workforce now if that's where I'm going to end up regardless. So what I did after I dropped out was that I moved to Ocean City, Maryland. I got a really nice job there at a restaurant. It was a very high-end restaurant, and very similar to Mike, within a matter of a few months, I had been moved up all the way to general manager. At 21 years old, I was a general manager of a very popular restaurant at the beach, and I kind of moved my entire life down to the beach. I bought a new car. I moved into a nice beach home. It was great, and I thought that I was living free and very much in control of my entire life. I'm like, I got the job. I'm doing 50, 60 hours a week. I got a salary. I got direction with my career. I like people, so I didn't mind working at a restaurant, and I love food, so it wasn't an issue for me either. So I really fell in love with that vision and that dream of what it is that we were doing at that time. And then I had a harsh awakening when they let me go. Actually, I dropped out of college in 2015. So I worked that job for 2 years, and in 2017 is when they let me go. And that was very, very unfortunate. I got laid off by something that wasn't necessarily in my control. The owners of the business sold the business. I've been great the entire time, but they sold the business, and I realized that I was expendable to them. And it's crazy to me when I see what just happened in the last year in 2020 that a lot of people had a realization that, hey, I'm expendable as far as where I'm getting my money from. But for me, when that happened to me in 2017, I realized that I needed to take control of how I was going to be creating finances for myself for the rest of my life, because I couldn't put that trust in somebody else and then be let down for my family that I didn't even have at the time. But I knew that that wasn't going to be the answer. So what did I start to do? I started to search and try to figure out different ways to be able to make money after I got laid off. And when I got laid off, it was rough. And in 2020, I know it was a rough year for a lot of people. I had my car repossessed. I was evicted from my house. I had to move back in with my mom. It was very, very uncomfortable for me. I was very vulnerable, and it was very, very, I didn't know what to do. I was lost. So what I did was what I knew how to do. And for me, it was coming with all the limiting beliefs, and I made some mistakes. And I ended up winding myself up in jail for a short stint. But what happened to me while I was inside of those walls was incredible. I'm literally in a room where I can touch both hands like this on the wall, and I had a gentleman come up to me and he said, listen, he's like, you don't belong here. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how do you know that? And we had a quick conversation, and he gave me a book. And this book was called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And in that book, I read that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is it shall he be. And for me, I started to think, and after I read the book, he's talking about how what you put in your mind will eventually be reflected inside of your life. So while I'm sitting in a cell with zero money, what's great about the situation is that I was forced to be open. And a lot of times people that you see walking around right now in life, they're not open to new opportunity because they think that the opportunity that they have is gonna take them where they wanna go. So until an awakening happens, a lot of times people really miss out on this. But me, I was open. I didn't have any choice. So while I'm there, I started to think about what it is that I wanted. So what do I want? I want to make money without anybody else being in control of it. I want to be able to have freedom with my lifestyle on a day in and day out basis. That's what I want. I want to be able to live my life in financial freedom and be in control of how my finances are coming into my life. I wanted that control because when I gave that control to somebody else, they didn't do well with it and it left me stranded. So what I did was I started to think and ponder about that, and within about 30 days of me being released, I came home and I got exposed to Forex, and I didn't know what Forex was. This is 2017. I had no idea what Forex was at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought that Forex, literally, I wrote a 4 and an X inside of my notebook when I heard about it because I was just so lost as far as what was going on. And then after that, it blew my mind because I knew that I was already asking and wanting to be able to make money in a traditional to what was expected that was going on with me around that time. So when I heard about something that was new, I was now aware that this opportunity was massive because I already knew that I was needing it. I was already looking for it, which is why sometimes people aren't having success in their business because you're not really looking for what it is you're supposed to be looking for. You're not even aware that success is around you every single day. So you don't put yourself in position or not aware for you to really be there. So I'm excited to go into detail to you guys to really break down what's happened in my life over the last 3 years. So what I want to talk about first is gratitude. And I say this on every call that I get on. I talk about this on every opportunity that I can, because gratitude literally creates a daily perspective that can change your life. I had a gentleman in 2017, this is right after I found out about trading. He said, write down 100 things right now that you're grateful for. And for me, again, I'm open. I wanted to make more. I need you to understand humility. Humility is simply it's not like a character trait. It's simply a realization that you don't have what it is that you want. I knew that I didn't have what it is that I wanted. So when people who did have what it is that I wanted gave me advice, I was quick to be able to implement. So when I learned about gratitude, again, I learned about it, but then I immediately put that into action. What did I do? He told me to write down 100 things that I'm grateful for. That took me a couple of hours. I got stuck at 37. That'll probably happen to you too. After that, he says, write down 100 things that you want. And I had both of these lists, and I'm sitting there looking at him, and he's telling me, he said, over time, every day, if you read these 2 lists, he said, you eventually see that the things that are on your want list are going to move over to the things that you're grateful list. And I'm like, no way. So I started to write the things I was grateful for. He's like, I don't care how many people are in your team. I only had 10 people in my team at the time. He said, it doesn't matter. You need to be grateful for every single one of them. And then on your want list, you need to write how many people it is that you do want inside your organization. So for me, it was really a perspective of being thankful for where it is I was at, because he was saying that people oftentimes, they look at their business, they look at their life, and they can only see what's going on right now. So it's hard to be grateful when you look at your business and there's only 10 people in there, but you want to be a 6-figure earner. And what I had to learn was that, okay, if I'm grateful for where I'm at now, that is attracting more to my situation right now. Have you ever tried to give something to a child who was ungrateful? Why would you want to give something to somebody who's not appreciative of what it is that they already have? That means that they're not ready or prepared to take what it is that you're going to give to them. And life works the same way. So if you walk around with an ungrateful attitude and being very frustrated at everything that's going on, then you're not going to get the things that you want. We don't move from frustration to frustration, because let me tell you something. I don't care what rank you're at. You could be at 500, you could be at 25K. There's a next rank. There's a next goal. So what happens if I'm frustrated for the rank or the position that I'm in right now, and then I'm not at my next one yet? So I'm frustrated that we're not at 50K. And then I'm going to be frustrated that we're not at 100K. That doesn't make any sense. Now you're moving from frustration to frustration as opposed to faith to faith. And you have to walk and operate in a state of faith at all times, or else you're going to get too caught up in the circumstances that are going on right now. Oh my gosh, somebody left my team. Now your whole day is thought about what actually happened to you as opposed to where it is that you're going. And the only known way to increase your faith is through a method and a principle called autosuggestion. So what we're going to talk about today is supernatural success. What does the word supernatural even mean? I think that is very, very powerful for you guys to truly understand what that actually means for people. The word supernatural, it means that a manifestation attributed to some force beyond scientific understanding or the laws of nature. Wow. I had a mentor of mine. He taught me about definitions like a year ago, and he said, you really need to start looking up these words so that way you can really have a grounding as far as what it is that you're discussing with people. So let's talk about what that word supernatural means. A manifestation or event attributed to some force beyond scientific understanding or the laws of nature. What does that mean? That means that something's happened that we're attributing the credit for it beyond the scientific understanding or the laws of nature. Can we go one slide ahead, please? What we see here is that when you see the laws of nature, what does that mean? A regularly occurring or apparently inevitable phenomenon observable in human society. So what is regularly occurring in the lifestyle of most 26-year-olds who grew up in Philadelphia? Maybe 30K a year, 40K a year, maybe some influence inside of their own community. Definitely not a strong 6-figure income. So what I would consider my life to be right now is supernatural compared to the things that are expected or are inevitable phenomena observable in human society. What are most human beings doing right now in society? Going to work 9 to 5, taking 2-3 weeks off a year, trying to like live in ends meet. Most people don't have $1,000 in their bank account. I didn't want that for me. That's a typical law of nature if we just look at what's going on around us right here in your life right now. What are most people making? What are most people doing? What's going on? And I really want everybody to understand that that with most people, you're living and operating in a state or in a space just like everybody else. So what I want you to do is to have a wake-up call as far as what it is that's possible for you in your life right now. So how do you get outside of what is average? How do you get outside of what is natural? How do you have supernatural success? And again, let's just talk about business. So what does supernatural success look like in your business? If you were to make I were to reach VIP 5,000, would that be supernatural compared to everything else that's going on in the typical inevitable phenomenon observable in human society? Is that the truth? What is supernatural to you? And a lot of times we don't have clarity in the things that we want, and that's the issue. The other day I was driving, had a 13-hour drive a few days ago, and it was a long drive, but we were going through North Carolina, and there was a lot of fog that came. And when we were going through the fog, I couldn't accelerate because I couldn't see clearly about where it is that I was going. I knew I wanted to go, I knew I had 100 miles left, but I couldn't accelerate because it wasn't clear. And a lot of times, most people that are in business, they don't have clarity in where they want to go, so that's why you can't accelerate. So if you allow that clarity so you allow that fog to get out the way, you move out all the distractions, and you really understand where it is that you're going, now you can accelerate. The word says that you write the vision and you make it plain so that he who sees it will run. Why isn't your organization running? Because they don't have a vision. So they don't know where they're going. So if you're not having conversations with the people that are in your group, with the people that are around your group, with the people that are leading your group about where it is that we're going and making that clear to see for everybody. So let's talk about this definition of the word manifest. And again, these are all definitions. You can go to Google, you can go to Webster, and you can fact check all of this. But what does the word manifest mean? It means that you want to go ahead, it has to be clear and obvious to the mind, or readily perceived by the senses, especially the sense of sight. What does that mean? So what is readily perceived by the senses in your life right now? If I were to walk in your house right now today, what's readily perceived by the things that I'll be able to see? Is it clear that you're going to be a millionaire? Is it readily perceived that you're going to make $10,000 a month in Auvoria Prime? If I look at your life, I look at the last 24 hours of how you lived, would it be easily understood or recognized by the mind that you're going to go where it is that you say you're going? You hear the word manifest all the time. People think that you're just in your house running around saying certain things, but there's no work or there's no action that's behind it. The action is that you have to make it clear. You can look at my life in the last 3 months and be clear exactly where it is that I'm going to be at as time goes on. And again, you can't put a date on your goals. You can't say, okay, it's going to happen by this day or this day. You can't, because you have to go through the process of time. What does time stand for? Things I must experience. That's what time stands for. So that puts you in a position to realize that, hey, it may take time for you to get to your goal, and that's okay. How do you pursue what it is that you want and have peace while this is happening? You have to understand that this is a process. But when you have clarity on what it is that you want, it's very easy. So I'm excited because I want you guys to start manifesting what it is, the things that you want inside of your life. So let's talk about the 2 phases of success. Things are spiritual and things are physical. And I think that Mike did a great job on breaking down really both sides when it comes to the things that you need to be doing to level up in your business. But if we can be honest, there's nothing that was created in the physical that wasn't first created in the spiritual. They're equally important. You'll meet people who train on skill sets and on actions, but don't necessarily get into what it really takes or the mindset for you to be able to get to that level. And if you're not confident in what it is that you're thinking about, and confident in the words that you're saying, confident in the things that you're seeing or operating in faith, you're not going to go learn how to be a great leader. You're not going to go learn how to be able to prospect at a high level. You're not going to go learn the real work that's required to be in network marketing. Now, to be successful in anything, you're going to have to work. So for me, I try to focus and put my energy on my trainings to the things that people necessarily don't see, because that really guides you for the things that people do see. So let's get into some more detail. You have to control your thoughts. What does that mean? Where do thoughts come from? Thoughts come from your 5 senses. So what are your 5 senses? Sight, hearing, smell, taste. If you see something, you're going to have a thought about it. If you smell something good, you're going to have a thought about it. If I taste something good, I'm going to have a thought about it. So if I want to be like again, we're going back to real text here. As a man thinketh in his heart, so it shall be. So I need to have thoughts intentionally about what it is that I want. And again, this is the problem, that most people don't know what they want. So until you get clarity on where it is you want to go, then this makes this next process so much easier. So let's say for me personally, or whatever your goal is, let's say your goal is you want to make $10,000 a month in Auvoria Prime. It's a very reasonable goal that you can make happen right now in this year of 2021, regardless of where you're at right now. You could have nobody. There's people who are not even in Auvoria Prime yet that are going to join Auvoria Prime in 2021 and have 6-figure incomes by the time 2021 ends. So that people that are already involved don't look at where you're at right now and think that, okay, well, I only have 3 people in my business. I might be a bronze customer. People around me don't think I know how to make money. Whatever these limiting beliefs are, that's where these thoughts come from. And I hear them from people all the time. Donta, I'm struggling in my business. People aren't joining. Why? And for me, they're not joining you because you don't know where you're going. It's not clear yet. And for me, I'm so clear on what it is that I want. The people that don't join my organization, that's good, because there's going to be people regardless that aren't going to go. But for you to know where it is that I'm going, everybody's not going to be on the train with you to go where it is that you need to be. And I need you to realize that every person that's in your life right now aren't going to be the same people when you get to your goal. The people that help me make $10,000 a month are not going to be the same people that help us make $100,000 a month. So you got to realize that there's a process through this. But what are your thoughts? If you walk in my house right now, you'll literally see all over the walls. We don't just have a vision board. We're creating a vision environment. Why? Because I understand that I'm going to have a thought about everything I see in my house. So when I walk in my house and I see, I'm so happy and grateful now that we have 100 7-figure earners inside the impact community, I have now had a thought about it. Now, after that, I choose to intentionally think about what I just had a thought about. What does that mean? You could walk by somebody and have a thought, and you're like, nothing. But it's your decision to intentionally think about it. The book says think and grow rich, not have a thought and grow rich. But it starts with the thought. So if you can control what your thoughts are, now you can intentionally think about them. And from that point now, you can go into where you can visualize and really give yourself the ability to allow yourself to create it. You're going through what's called the process of creation as you're doing this. But everything starts on the spiritual side. You'll see after we go into your thoughts, it goes into your words. What are you saying? What are you saying out your mouth about your business right now? Are you speaking that you're so happy and grateful now that people are joining your organization every day? I literally can show you videos of myself 2 years ago saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that Impact has massive momentum. Massive moment. I said those words, and Derek just said it just now. We had 2,700 people join the community in the last 30 days. The best part about that is I'm not taking credit for it. Remember, we're leaning on the sum force. You go back to that word supernatural, it's a sum force outside of what it is that a human being may be able to understand. So what does that mean? How does somebody go from a prison cell in 2017 to an organization that's almost doing $1 million a month in under 36 months? How? There's no explanation. It just came from me understanding what it is that I wanted, being direct and being clear about how it is I was going to get there, and not necessarily feeling responsible for every single step of the way. A lot of times we're spending too much time having thoughts and thinking about things that we actually can't control. All you can control is where it is that you want to go and the actions that you can do today. So in the physical, our next step, now that we're over to spiritual, I hope you guys are with me and you really caught that. And I know I'm talking fast, but I want you guys to really pay attention, and we got to only have 25 minutes. So now I want to talk about leadership. For everything you see in the physical, it requires 3 things to be able to learn it. You got to study, you got to practice, you got to teach. You got to study leadership. You got to practice the things that you studied about leadership, and then you have to teach it. Teaching is the highest form of knowledge, but a lot of times people go and learn something and then they go to try to teach it without practicing it, and that's the problem. But for you to become a master at everything that you see here, you have to go through that process of study, practice, and teach for everything that you see on the physical side. You have to study the skill sets on how to become better at network marketing. What are some of the skills? You heard Mike go over them. Following up, closing, things like that. Those are things that you need to get good at for you to be able to get to your goals. And after that, you want to stay focused on the work, the techniques, and the action. But in the physical and the right now, I want you to understand that that we can really go. Now I'm hot, guys. I'm giving you guys some real nuggets right now. I'm really excited. So after you go through and understand what's on the physical, how do you guys level up? So what do I want you to do today? What do I want you to do today? I want you to create your own affirmation. What does that mean? What does that look like? So you want to create your affirmation in the I am so happy and grateful now format. What does that mean? That puts your goal, what it is that you want. Let's say you're so happy and grateful now that you're earning $500 a month. I don't know why you would make a goal so small. I want you guys to really think that if you make your goal of hitting $10,000 a month, that hitting $500 a month is a part of that process. So the quicker that you start to aim bigger, you need to read books like The Magic of Thinking Big and things of that nature. I want you to understand that creating your affirmation puts you in control. So you first create your affirmation, and then you do it in the I'm so happy and grateful now format. So whatever your goal is, you got to think, what do I want? What am I desiring? Why are you on this call? Why are you here? What do you want out of Auvoria Prime? And I want you to think about what those desires are going to do for you. What are those desires going to do for you? What is your life going to look like when you make $10,000 a month? I don't know, but I want you to think about those things. What kind of car are you going to drive when you make $10,000 a month? What kind of food are you going to get for your kids when you make $10,000 a month? What kind of decisions are you going to be able to make now in your life when you make $10,000 plus a month or whatever your goal is? I want you to know that. So if you can think about what you're doing in your life and put I'm so happy and grateful now before that, it makes it so much easier for you to go through and to do the work. The work has to happen. But for you to be successful in anything, the work's gonna have to happen. I've never met anybody that's been at the height, the peak, or at any level of success in anything that didn't have to put in any level of work. So if we can all understand, you gotta work if you're gonna go to work. So it's like, regardless, you're like, working is a part of the process, but I want you to realize and have a target on what it is you're working for, how you're planning on getting there. So what I want you to do is to create that affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that what? That whatever your goal list comes after that, and then I want you to print it out. Print it out. Print it out. Go ahead, type it up on the computer, print it out, and place it around your environment. Why? What is that going to do? That's going to force you to see it and have a thought about it every day. Why would you not want to place what it is that you said you want around your environment so that way you see it more often? Why would you not want that? A lot of times, it's a real thing. It's called the fear of success. Like, what if it does work? What if you have the story of wherever you're at right now to a multiple 6 to 7 figure earner in a year or 2 years from now? What if that's you? A lot of times people are scared of the what if. I was scared of the what if. I was like, what if I really sit in this jail cell and think about making money, and then I get home and there's a way now for me to be able to make money that I never learned about that's gonna change my life? That's a scary thought because it really happened, and there was a lot of people who were around that were like, whoa, this isn't real, Donta. There's no way you're really doing that. I'll leave you alone. And it's because it goes beyond human understanding at times. You have to realize that your thoughts, your words have power, that life and death are really in the power of the tongue. So if you have intentional thoughts about what it is that you want every single day, it's really, really powerful. So lastly, I want you to use, it's an app that's called Day One. So you can download this app right now. It's called Day One. And what it allows you to do is to journal every day. And if you spend time journaling your affirmations every morning, it puts you in a position of power and in a position of clarity about what it is you're doing with your actions on a day-to-day. It's tough sometimes for people to go and hop on Zoom calls and prospect and follow up and do all those things when you don't have clarity with where you go. But me, I have that's why you heard the term before that work doesn't feel like work when you know what you're doing or you're working in passion. Because I'm passionate about where I want to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. The actions that I have to take to get there really don't feel like work, although we're doing a lot of action. And I want you to understand that if I can come from where I was at and be to where we're at now, and again, where we're at now is nothing to where we're going. Oh my gosh, it's really nothing. But to even be where we're at standing right now, me and my partner, Mr. Michael Manuel, where we're at has been a movement of something that's supernatural. And I want you guys to realize that that same power is accessible to you, that you have the ability to take advantage of that you have the ability to utilize that in all areas of your life. We're talking about business. You can keep it at your next rank or rank 3 ranks from now, or how much money you want in your trading account, but these same principles work in your family life. These same principles work in your health life. And I want you to realize that you dictate how this whole thing looks in your life. Nobody else has the power to take anything away from you once you understand where it is that you're going and truly have that clarity, guys. So I'm thankful to be here with you all today, and I really hope that you were able to really get something. I want to see if anybody goes and prints these papers out and puts them around your environment. Go ahead and tag me on Instagram or show me some love, and I'll make sure that we shout you out. We can have a conversation about it. But I want you to understand that you're in control. Nobody else can dictate how fast or how slow your business goes. You take responsibility, you have the clarity, you have the vision, and now you can utilize this power of the supernatural that we discussed today in your favor for your business, so that way you can really crush it. Thank you, it's Donta. I've been here a great time. I appreciate it.